Good morning. How are you? Good. Do you have time for a short little 5-minute interview before you do your run?
Okay.
All right, cool. Thanks. I'm Anthony.
Joseph.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Are you okay if I were to record it? Are you willing to let me record it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Let me give you the premise here. I have short chats with people to identify a belief that you really think is true.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ask questions to examine the method you used to arrive at that conclusion. It's kind of like back when you were in school and did a math problem,
Mm-hmm.
and then your teacher says, "Let's check your work."
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. Like, I just ask questions, and then oftentimes when we go back to check the work, you might be scratching your head like, why did I plug in that value, or why did I put that thing there?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a particular belief that you really think is true, like God or karma or ghosts, magic?
Yes, for me, I do believe in God,
Okay.
and also believe in magic as well.
Okay. God and magic.
Yeah.
We can talk about any topic you prefer, but what I found is that the more the belief influences your actions on a daily basis, those are usually the more interesting topics.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to just pick one of these and just focus on it because we just have a short amount of time.
I'd say God. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, Joseph, how did you conclude that a God exists?
I'd say stuff that happened to me in my life, and as far as like reading the Bible, what it says, and the prophecies that it has in there, and I see stuff like that actually happening in real life right now. Like a good example for myself is before I didn't believe in God that much like that. I'd go to church because my parents forced me, but I wasn't really into it until my grandma, she passed away, and then at that point I started praying, and my sister was always praying as well, and then she was having visions and seeing stuff, like she was just seeing like angels and archangels around people, and then I wanted that as well, so I was praying, and then I basically got baptized by the Holy Spirit, which it was like an out of body experience. Like, felt like something was taking control, like the Holy Spirit was taking control of me. I was speaking in tongues.
No kidding.
I wasn't aware it was something that big until my sister told me what it was.
Okay, so I want to summarize what I think you just said. If I'm off, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandmother passed away, and I'm sorry to hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
But you ended up getting baptized, and you said that your sister started seeing angels, and you wanted to experience that too. So then you get baptized, and then you started speaking in tongues during the baptism, after?
No, while I was praying at home.
Okay.
I was praying at home, and at some point I just started speaking this language that I was not aware of.
Just spontaneously?
Yeah, just like that.
My goodness. Okay. Did you get scared by it, or was it a relieving feeling? Like, what went through your head when that happened?
When it was happening, I wasn't aware until a couple, like 30 seconds later, that I noticed that I'm not speaking English, that I'm speaking some different language. I was kind of scared and like worried about it, but my sister told me that that's what happens when you get baptized in the Holy Spirit.
Were you alone when that happened?
Yes, I was alone.
Okay. So you're alone. This is post-baptism. You find yourself, you've been speaking in tongues or speaking in a different language or something for 30 seconds before you realized it.
And that only happened once. I can't do it again. I don't know why.
I'm sort of a skeptical person by nature, and it's just how I am. When I hear something like that, it makes me wonder if there's some other explanation for it than a God. Like maybe there really was a God. Maybe it was the Holy Spirit that caused you to speak in some in tongues.
Yeah.
Like that would be that's so interesting
Yeah.
if it happened. But have you ever considered other explanations for it?
I haven't. No, I have not.
I don't know what it could be. I'm thinking, what's going through my mind is like, there was a gas leak in the room, and maybe he was tripping out a little bit, or somebody slipped him something. Like, I'm just curious why you would go to a supernatural explanation for something that might be explained by some other natural cause.
Probably because I think because at that point it was the only thing that I knew and the only explanation that I was getting from everyone else. And I will also say that it was something that like I was searching for, basically, because I wanted to get, because my sister of the stuff that she was seeing, I was searching for something like that. That's what I would say.
So I think that's the second time that you said that you wanted what your sister had, and it was that you were searching for it. And you also mentioned that it was the only thing that you knew. So it makes me wonder if you were raised with a completely different God belief, if you were taught to believe that Vishnu was the one true God, that there wasn't the Bible, that there was the Bhagavad Gita was the right book, and you had a sister that believed in that as well, do you think that you would be, at some level in your mind, striving to be achieving that belief that she has? Are you mimicking a belief that you've...
My car, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Are you mimicking a belief that you think you want to have?
That's a good question. I wouldn't call it... Okay, yeah, it could be mimicking, but I would not know for sure because there's a lot of different beliefs. They're all very similar. They all have a similarity to it, but I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I don't say I'm mimicking an exact one. It's just basically the thing when I was growing up, it was the only thing that was there that I was taught. I was taught Christianity, go to church, the Bible, there's Jesus. And it could be different if I was taught about Vishnu and
That other book.
different belief, but I don't know if I don't know. That's a hard question.
Well, I appreciate your time, and I have a card here for you. We've hit our 5. What I find is that people oftentimes, when we're done talking, they go on the trail and they contact me later and they say, I was thinking about our talk the whole time I was running. That's kind of an interesting thing to hear from folks that they end up giving a little thought to it. Do you have any feedback or what did you think about the talk? And you're not going to offend me.
It opened my mind a little bit on, like, as far as beliefs. That last question that you asked me kind of got to me. Like, made me think about it. Am I actually mimicking or something that I'd had to think about?
Thank you so very much.
Nice to
Really
meet
enjoyed
you.
it. My name is Anthony, and hit me up an email if you want to chat some
Oh
more.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I will be. We do a podcast, and
You have a podcast?
Yeah.
What is it about?
It's about everything in general. We just started 2 weeks ago. We've just been recording, but we're trying to put our first episode out on the 26th. And
What's it called?
it's called Chicken and Waffles.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's what my son eats for breakfast every morning. He literally does. He cooks up this chicken and he puts waffles in the toaster. And he's been doing that for about 1.5 years, and I'm just wondering when he's finally going to stop doing that. That's a great title.
Yes, this is my cousin.
Oh, how you doing? I'm Anthony. I'm recording, just so you know.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, Sarah
I think you
did,
should
you know,
talk to
volleyball.
him as well. Yeah, but
Yeah, so
I wanna get a time and get you on there.
sure. We can do it live, or we can Skype it in or something.
There's 3 of us.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, he doesn't have any beliefs. He's an atheist basically.
Okay.
And the other one, he's Muslim.
Interesting.
So-
And then do you represent the Christian side of that? So how did you come up with the title?
We're just sitting around. We didn't want anything too professional, formal. We just sat around and we're like, what do we like to eat? And,
I love it because it's so memorable. And right from the start, it's like it's a laid-back title, so it kind of says a lot about what the topics might be, or at least the approach that you're going to take. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, I'll definitely contact you on
I
that.
would love that. Yeah, it'd be fun. Well, thank you so much for your time again.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you around.
All right, see you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, you take care.
You too. See ya. That was a wonderful talk, and I loved how comfortable he seemed to be in front of the camera and willingness to be interviewed. He is a Christian who read the Bible. He was inspired by an event that his sister related to him where she saw angels, and he wanted that. Then he decided to get baptized, and shortly after he had an experience where he started speaking in tongues. Now, it's difficult to challenge a person's experience like that. I honestly think that he probably did end up speaking or babbling in some incoherent language. I'm not contesting that. So it wouldn't be a good street epistemology thing to do to just say, I think you're making that up. Because honestly, he probably wasn't making it up. I think he did experience something. And I tried something a little bit different there, where I said, hey, as a skeptic, when I hear something like that, here are a couple of explanations that would flash through my mind, and I'm curious why you would just go to something supernatural. And then he reiterated again that it was something that he wants. It was something that he's striving to achieve. Then that led us to the conversation to see if he was simply mimicking a behavior to reach a desired goal. And that gave him some pause. You can see he really stopped to think about it. In fact, later after the talk, he brought it up again as something that made him really think.